Number 16. Golfer drowns in pond. 74-year-old Hermelo Jasmines and a friend were playing golf at the East Lake Woodlands Country Club in Florida in the early morning of March 1, 2021. During the game, Jasmines knocked his ball into a woody area off course and set off in his golf cart to find it. Trying to retrieve his ball, he tripped and fell face first into a nearby pool. He was unable to pull himself out and ended up drowning in the pond. Authorities were called to the scene to look for him, but he was pronounced dead upon discovery. Number 15. Ex-football player falls off fishing boat and drowns. Pete Lammon was part of the Super Bowl-winning 1969 Jets team. In April 2021, the 77-year-old man was set to participate in a major league fishing event. He had been competing for some years now, and despite recently coming out of surgery, did not want to miss the event. Both his son and his girlfriend tried to talk him out of it and get him to rest, but to no avail. The operation had left him quite weakened. The incident happened at the Sam Rayburn Reservoir in Texas, where the major was taking place. Lammon's boat was not running when he fell off. Emergency services responded to distress calls, but attempts to retrieve his body proved unsuccessful. His body was later discovered and submerged using sonar technology. Number 14. Soccer player drowns at Ohio lake. Sidlowski, 21 years old, was seen holding on to the swim platform of a boat at East Fork State Park, Ohio before she disappeared. The event took place on May 22, 2021. She wasn't wearing a life jacket at the time. Her body was discovered a day later. Even though her death was ruled as drowning, carbon monoxide poisoning was the most significant contributing factor. She likely inhaled carbon monoxide from the boat, which caused her to dip into the water. Number 13. Cop saves woman from drowning. Officer Ray Lapointe from the Brick Township Police Department received an emergency call about a woman who chose to remain unnamed, drowning in the Matideconk River in New Jersey. The call had been made by the woman's neighbor, who had thrown her a life jacket to help her stay afloat, but could offer no further help due to the strong currents. He had heard her drowning and rushed out of the house to find the scene. The woman had been checking on her boat docked in the river when she lost her footing and fell in. Officer Lapointe arrived just in time to get to the water, balance on a low beam from the dock, and pull the victim out of the river. Number 12. 10 people saved from potential mass drowning. On Christmas Day 2020, a beach in Queensland, Australia, nearly turned into the site of a mass drowning. Tides kicked up all of a sudden, causing 10 people who had been swimming at the time to get caught in the surf. As paramedics were called to the scene, lifeguards kicked into action and managed to pull all the struggling people back to shore. Out of the 10, 7 of them received treatment on the beach, while 3 of them had to be taken to the hospital for further treatment. Luckily, everyone involved survived the incident. Number 11. Fitness model dies during late-night dip. A 29-year-old Ukrainian fitness model and personal trainer by the name of Julia Boyka, who was living in Melbourne, Australia, went swimming at night with a 32-year-old British man known as Jake Jacobs at the Karawa Beach on the Gold Coast of Australia. This happened on February 8, 2021. Although they expected the water to be calm, conditions were whipped up by the ex-tropical cyclone Lucas. During her swim, Julia Boyka disappeared for about an hour. Strong tides prevented anyone from going after her. When her body finally washed to the shore, she was already dead. Number 10. Virginia man drowns off Quansu. A man from Fairfax, Virginia, drowned off the coast of Quansu. His name was Donald Reagan, and he was 64 years old. The event took place at 4 p.m. According to authorities, the beach had recently been victim to strong tides and rough winds. Donald Reagan had gone swimming with his friend, a 68-year-old vineyard man who remains anonymous, when they were swept out in the rips near the cut in Tisbury Great Pond. Only the vineyard man made it to shore. He managed to summon a Coast Guard, who got Donald Reagan out of the water. However, by then, it was too late. Number 9. New Fairfield native dies in New Jersey swimming accident. A month after her wedding, a 27-year-old New Fairfield native known as Nicole Vengali Ferrari went swimming with a couple of friends at a beach in Toms River, New Jersey on September 18, 2021. Around 12:30 p.m., emergency personnel in the vicinity responded to reports of distressed swimmers at Ortley Beach. Firefighters managed to pull her out of the water, brought her to shore, and performed CPR. Although she did not have a pulse, she regained one before being transported to the community medical center in Toms River. Once there, despite the best efforts of the medical staff, she died. Number 8. 60-year-old woman dies while snorkeling in Hawaii. On August 24, 2021, a woman by the name of Therese Walls died while snorkeling off the coast of the Hawaii island of Kauai. After discovering her body, bystanders wasted no time pulling her out of the water. Emergency services were summoned, and although she regained a pulse, she died in the hospital after being in critical condition for a short time. According to authorities, she died from rapid onset pulmonary edema, or ROP, a health condition responsible for most snorkeling-related drownings. Afflicted divers lose consciousness and strength, which can lead to drowning deaths. Number 7. 80-year-old man drowns after boat capsizes. On August 16, 2021, a Texas man known as Carl Katzenberger went on a boat cruise with 52 other party guests and crew. The boat had only been out for half the cruise time when 4 to 5 foot waves, due to high winds, caused it to capsize near Regency Point at 8:12 p.m. Out of the 52 people on the boat, only Katzenberger and one other woman who was suffering from a panic attack needed immediate medical care. The other crew members managed to make it out of the water all right, but Katzenberger was pronounced dead at the hospital. Number 6. Woman found dead in a hot tub. A 57-year-old grandmother by the name of Mandy Pugh moved into a new house with her husband Lee Pugh in order to be closer to the family. Their new house where the incident took place was located in Porthcawl, Wales. On December 23, 2019, Mandy Pugh and her husband had been using the hot tub when he left early to watch TV. After a while, he returned to find his wife floating face first in the water. Authorities were summoned to the scene, but by the time they arrived, it was too late. Mandy Pugh had been wine drunk at the time, and this probably led to her death. Number 5. Double drowning in Colorado River. On October 14, 2021, 68-year-old Susan Weaver and the 75-year-old James Weaver were in a boat heading north of the Colorado River. On the way, a personal item fell into the water, which Susan Weaver tried to retrieve. While in the process, she ended up going overboard and then started to struggle in the water. Her husband, James Weaver, dived in after her to try and save her. Instead, he ended up losing consciousness. Bystanders pulled them out of the water and attempted to perform CPR. However, they were both pronounced dead after arriving at the hospital. Number 4. Peoria man drowns in Illinois River. A 31-year-old man by the name of Daryl Wayne O'Neill was a suspect in a theft that took place in the local Walmart of Peoria, Illinois. While on the run from the authorities, he attempted to hide near the Coast Guard station in the area. But then, finding that place unsafe, he scaled a nearby fence and then tumbled down an embankment and into the Illinois River around 11 a.m. O'Neill ended up drowning soon after that. He was found in the river and brought ashore by members of the Fond du Lac Park District Police Department's Marine Unit. Number 3. 72-year-old man dies in kayaking accident. On October 1, 2021, a 72-year-old man by the name of Wayne Weinberg was kayaking with his wife in Betty's Branch, Georgia, when their boat overturned, causing both of them to fall into the water. Even though Weinberg's wife was able to swim back to the surface, her husband could not. With help from witnesses, his wife managed to retrieve his body and bring him back to shore. Emergency services were called to the scene moments later. Despite their best efforts when they arrived, he was pronounced dead on the sandbar and didn't even make it to a hospital. Number 2. 22-year-old man drowns in Norfolk. Christers Bednarskis died at a beauty spot in Norfolk, England in 2020. He was sunbathing on an airbed when the bed got blown across a lake in Boise Country Park by a very strong wind. He was with his girlfriend at the time at the edge of a flooded quarry before the airbed got blown away. His girlfriend had gotten up and swam to shore to get something to eat. However, when she looked back at the spot, he was gone. Authorities later found his body. They concluded that he had died of drowning with no traces of blood or alcohol in his body. Number 1. English tourist drowns in Australia. Charlie Williams, a 24-year-old English tourist on a working visa in Australia, visited a popular waterhole known as the Bahana Gorge with a couple of his friends on April 12, 2021. The gorge, a popular tourist destination, is infamous for dangerous water currents. While swimming, Charlie Williams began to show signs of distress and paramedics were called to the gorge. After pulling his body out of the water, they tried to revive him using CPR. However, they failed to save his life. He was pronounced dead at the scene. No foul play was suspected. Which listing is most surprising to you? Let us know in the comments below.